Statues and monuments are under attack in this country, including those of George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. An entertainment magazine has put a list together of more movies that are problematic, plus Facebook gets caught with its anti-conservative bias. All that and more. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour.
And God bless the United States of America.
All right, friends, welcome to the show. Happy Wednesday. If you're new to the show, thank you so much for tuning in. We've got so much to cover. We're going to start with the craziness that's going around this country because, believe me, this has nothing to do anymore, as if it ever did, with George Floyd. That was just the trigger point for Black Lives Matter and other organizations to unleash this chaos, this anarchy, and see where it would go, see what it could do, see how it could destroy or degrade our structures of American society. That is exactly what they're doing. Just look, in Seattle, they allowed a 6-block lawless zone to be created. The police actually moved out of the area. And what was the result? Chaos. The media portrayed it as, oh, peace and love. But even on night one, we saw the chaos, the leadership that was trying to emerge. Everyone is after power. Someone will take it if there's a vacuum. Now we have people assaulted. Now we have 3 people shot. And the mayor finally says, oh, we're going to step in. It's just absolutely crazy. Then we have this attack on our history. We have this attack on these monuments. And make no mistake, this isn't about Confederate statues. That was just the tip of the iceberg. This is about the left seeing how far they can push these. Can they attack? Can they vandalize? Can they destroy without any repercussions? We have Democrats actually cheering this on, standing idly by while this happens. It was just the tip of the iceberg. Now they've seen that they can do it, and there's more to come. Here's some comments from Tucker Carlson on what's going on.
They know that if they can force you to watch as they topple your heroes, they have won. There's nothing they can't do next. They can decide how you raise your children, how you vote, what you're allowed to believe. Once they've humiliated you, they can control you. And that's why, across the country, mobs are tearing down America's monuments.
Carlson is absolutely right. And keep this in mind. Nothing that you see out there that the left is doing is their end game. What you see right now is just a piece of a grander picture, a grander plan to incite chaos. Chaos leads to fear, and fear leads to control. That is what they want. And we see that's what's going on. Look at these cities with the vandalism, the rioting, and the looting. Who's in control? Law enforcement? Local law enforcement? No, they're pulling out. They're being vilified by the people they're supposed to protect, the people that need protecting, the businesses that need protecting. Police are out. Local elected officials. As I mentioned, Democrats are actually sitting back and watching this, not criticizing at all, not doing anything about it. The lawlessness, these looters, these vandals are the ones in control. It's absolutely outrageous. And again, this is more to come. There's more to come. This is just the start. Here's a kind of a summary Carlson did of what's going on out there.
In the cities of Richmond and St. Paul, Minnesota, they've torn down statues of Christopher Columbus. They did the same thing in Boston. Boston's mayor now says it's time to remove a statue of Abraham Lincoln, the man who freed the slaves. It's racist. In Dallas, they pulled a Texas Ranger statue out of the airport after more than 50 years. In Dearborn, Michigan, they toppled a statue of the former mayor. They did the same thing in Philadelphia. In Nashville, they pulled down a statue of a former U.S. senator. Same in Albany. In Oregon, Thomas Jefferson and George Washington were torn down.
Wow. Washington, Lincoln, Grant, Jefferson. It's unreal. Of those 4 I listed, you've got 2 that worked to form this country and 2 that worked to save it. And they're being destroyed. They're being torn down. It's unreal. What's going to be left? Who are we supposed to idolize in the future? Well, I know the answer to that. We'll get to that in a little bit. But it's absolutely outrageous. I mean, what's next? I'll tell you what's next. Black Lives Matter, one of their big activists, Shaun King, he posted that we need to start tearing down images of Jesus. Here's his tweet. Yes, all murals and stained glass windows of white Jesus and his European mother and their white friends should also come down. They are a gross form of white supremacy, created as tools of oppression, racist propaganda. They should all come down. Folks, this is insane. We have to speak out. We have to do something about it. It can't just be me in this show or Tucker Carlson in his show. We have to all speak out to our friends, to our elected officials, support our police departments. We have to have control of this situation. We cannot let chaos run amok. It is so frustrating. I actually had a hard time yesterday sitting down to prepare for this show because things are so bad out there. Everywhere on Twitter you go, you see violence. I mean, it's just getting unreal. The other day, I saw one where this black kid put on brass knuckles, went up to a white kid that's not looking, hit him in the head, in the face, knocked him out cold, and then was happy about it. Another video I saw, a homeless guy, a black homeless guy, he's just laying on the street. He's just sleeping on the street. Someone on video lit what looked like a stick of dynamite and threw it at him. You see it land, you see the clothes catch on fire from the fuse, and then it explodes on this guy. This is what we're seeing out there. It's chaos and anarchy, and Black Lives Matter doesn't care about black lives. They care about control. It is just another tool of the left to advance this chaotic agenda. So that is the statues. That is the history. Now I want to talk about another portion of it, and that is what you're seeing with this labeling of movies. You know, Gone with the Wind was pulled down from HBO Plus. It's going to come back, I think, with some kind of warning label. Cop shows are being pulled. The stuff that is offensive to the left is being removed. It is being removed from viewing. Now Variety magazine has come up with a list of 10 more movies that it deems problematic, and some of the list, some of the description is absolutely nuts. Here's their report. Dirty Harry, 1971. This film mocks liberal judges and do-gooders, and the villain claims police brutality, planting the seed that other such charges are fake moves to get sympathy. Forrest Gump, 1994. While this film is condescending to anyone with a disability, Vietnam vets and people with AIDS among others, it's actually hostile to protesters, activists, and the counterculture. Yes, folks, this is an actual list, an actual article, in an actual publication. Branding, labeling, erasing. That's what they want to do. Here's more. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, 1984. This film went a little too far in trying to replicate the mood of 1930s action serials. Like those old movies, the exotic villains are portrayed as primitive and bloodthirsty foreigners, resulting in negative and stereotypical depictions of India and of Hindu customs. True Lies, 1994. James Cameron is a rare filmmaker, a brilliant storyteller, and a true visionary, but even a genius can make a misstep. The film is entertaining and has some terrific set pieces, but the Arab characters are religious fanatics or terrorists, or both. Folks, this is just crazy. It is just nuts what they're trying to do. I mean, labeling films, you know, the next step is to get rid of them completely. And it's not limited here. Whatever you see on the media, and I get a feel for this now because I've been doing some British talk radio, but this is a worldwide phenomenon. The left is not isolated to America. It is a push to go after Western civilization, freedom in general, and replace it with oppressiveness. We've seen it in the Soviet Union. We see it in North Korea. We see it in Venezuela. This is the push worldwide from the left. And another example is going on in Great Britain. They have an award similar to our Presidential Medal of Freedom. It is awarded by the Queen, this Medal of St. Michael and St. George. It is under attack by a Black Lives Matter group in that country. And you will not believe the reason why. It is absolutely insane. Here's a report. The highest honor in Britain, personally bestowed on recipients by the Queen of England, has come under fire over accusations of racism and resemblance to the killing of George Floyd. The Queen of England traditionally bestows the Order of St. Michael and St. George on ambassadors, diplomats, or senior foreign officials, The Guardian reports. The award's badge has a traditional Christian image of the angel St. Michael victoriously standing on Satan with the motto Auspicium Melioris Ave, which is Latin for omen of a better age. That's right, this medal, which shows St. Michael standing on Satan, is now under attack because it reminds people over there across the pond too much of George Floyd. And here's more of the report. The image of the honorary Knights Dame's Commander Star is a white-skinned angel stood on the head neck of a black-skinned devil, the petition says. This is a highly offensive image. It is also reminiscent of the recent murder of George Floyd by the white policeman in the same manner presented here in this medal. We, the undersigned, are calling for this medal to be completely redesigned in a more appropriate way and for an official apology to be given for the offense it has given, the petition says. Can you believe that? This is absolutely crazy. But again, just like in this country, we see people make these claims, make these accusations, make this stink. And what happens? People give in. Look at the NFL. They went from saying you can't kneel to actually promoting it, saying it's a good thing, having coaches say we're going to join them. And instead of having one person have some common sense and just speak out and say protest another way, but don't disrespect the flag. We're not going to stand for that. This is a time to come together. We can dispute our differences in other venues, other arenas, but in this case, let's respect the flag. Let's come together as a country for just the few seconds that it takes to sing the national anthem. It is absolutely outrageous, and it's going on worldwide. So next, I want to talk about Facebook and their uncovered bias that they said they didn't have. But first, folks, I got to tell you about Saturday. You need to tune in for the Saturday live stream. We've got a really special guest. I'm so excited. This is author, actor, director Kevin Sorbo. We're going to talk about his upcoming film, Miracle in East Texas, plus his experiences in Hollywood as a conservative, as a person of faith, and talk about the current political climate. It's going to be a great conversation. Please tune in Saturday. It's going to be our usual time for the live show, 11 a.m. Central Daylight Time. Please tune in. It's going to be awesome. All right, so now let's talk about Facebook. Because again, Facebook, Twitter, all of these social media platforms, they're all dominated by the left, and they all say they're unbiased. They all say they're fair. Well, guess what? Project Veritas, the ones that went undercover to expose what's really going on in Planned Parenthood, they went undercover in Facebook, and the results are startling, but not so much, because we really knew what's going on there. Here's a report from the Washington Times. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg has long insisted that the company is politically neutral, but the same apparently can't be said for all of its content moderators. The social media giant said it would review its training and oversight after a Project Veritas sting released Tuesday showed moderators on hidden camera footage claiming that they delete pro-Trump and conservative posts, that the company harbors an anti-Trump bias, and that Facebook shadow bans content despite its claims to the contrary. So, what Project Veritas did, it went undercover. It talked to these content moderators to get their feelings on the job they do, how they do it, and their left-wing bias. And here's more from the Washington Times. The Project Veritas video featured an interview with former content moderator Zach McElroy of Cognizant, a third-party firm used by Facebook to police the platform, who said that about 3/4 of the posts flagged for civic harassment tilted to the right. I saw a stark contrast between Republican versus Democrat in that queue, said McElroy. I saw upwards of 75 to 80% of the posts in that queue were from Republican pages, politicians, journalists, and pages that supported the president or supported conservatives. He said the content moderators who lean heavily to the left are essentially in charge of what gets said and what gets stifled. So the story went on to report about this going on. People bragging about banning content, shadow banning people, blasting President Trump, the power they had as moderators to control what is seen on Facebook. We see it going on. It shouldn't take these stings to point out the obvious and get something done about it. And yet we see this over and over and over again, thanks to Project Veritas for pointing it out, and hopefully this message will spread. All right, so next, I want to wrap up with kind of a summary of what we've seen on the show so far. We saw the erasing of history, this destroying of monuments, this vandalism. We saw the labeling of movies. We saw censorship from Facebook. It's absolutely unreal. The only thing left to add to that is this media narrative. What is the media doing to cover all of this stuff that's going on? Well, just take this past weekend. You had 80 people shot in Chicago. 14 of them died. Okay, 14 died, mostly black. Memorial weekend, there were even higher death tolls. No one covered that. This past weekend, Father's Day weekend, when all of these people were getting shot and dying in Chicago, what did the media focus on? A supposed noose found in the garage of black NASCAR driver Bubba Wallace. Everyone freaked out about that. Actual blacks are dying in Chicago every single weekend. In the teens or 20s, the amount. And yet this was the story. Then the FBI has to investigate, finds this rope tied in a circle that's used to pull a garage door down, has been hanging there since at least October of 2019. Yet that became a story. It's just absolutely unreal what the media covers and what they don't. What's important and what isn't. What Black Lives Matter focuses on and what they should be focusing on if they actually cared about Black lives. But it all goes into the story, and this is what I want to leave you guys with today. All right, we've seen, again, destroying of property, erasing of history, labeling movies, branding them as unacceptable. We've seen censorship. We see the media narrative. I want to leave you with this excerpt from George Orwell's 1984, which was actually published in 1949. Check this out. Every record has been destroyed or falsified. Every book rewritten. Every picture has been repainted. Every statue and street building has been renamed. Every date has been altered, and the process is continuing day by day and minute by minute. History has stopped. Nothing exists except an endless present in which the party is always right. Can you believe that? Take a look at that, published in 1949. Compare that to now. This is what the left is doing. This is their playbook. This is their end goal, and it's up to us to fight back. We have to educate people. They are out there indoctrinating people from elementary school. They have taken control of the media, of big tech, of government. It is unreal, and it's up to us to fight back. We're the only ones that can do it. So please share this with your friends. Let's get out there and do something about it. Folks, that's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe, and when you do, please hit that bell so you'll be notified, and we'll see you next time. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is the 13-Minute News Hour. Okay, friends, thanks so much for watching. And before you go, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you'll be notified. And here's a special video just for you so you can watch even more of the 13-Minute News Hour. And don't forget to check out GOPUSA.com for the best in conservative news and commentary. We'll see you next time.